So I know it's Thursday, and that means it's pickle day, but I'm gonna go out and grab something else. Got these two little silver Pigeon scooters out here, and it's a cold day, and I don't feel like welding a bus beam or working on anything that's trans-axle related on Pickle. So why don't we see if we can get this blue one out of here. And it basically just needs a tank. And then I gotta come up with something to serve as a cap to cover that hole. And then I gotta build one of these little toolbox looking things. And it's missing the door as well on the front. So there's a door there, but the good news is I have a pattern because this one has one. So the blue one I think is the one I can probably get going fairly quickly. It needs some other things, some dash components and whatnot. So let's see if we can get this out of here and get it in the garage. I'd be working outside today. It's fairly cool. Oh, Maggie. I'm not gonna push that thing very far. Alright. Oh, where do we want that? Right there. Okay, you in or out? You coming in? Whew, out of breath. All right. This front fender's kicked out a little bit. Or at least it's not lined up with the wheel. Pretty decent shape. Someone has replaced, there's another video about this, I'll try and link it here. Someone replaced the original engine in it. And so it does not have the original engine. Pretty cool little scooter though. I like them. And of course, we have a standing joke, when you find one, you're always going to find another one. So just a few months later, Aaron went to an auction and there was another one. So he bought it as well. So we have two of these guys. The other one is all there, but it does not run. This one does run. And the body tag. But all the body ID tags are missing. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Yeah, I got a little bit of work to do on this. I don't know if I'll keep this one going as a series, because it's kind of interrupting pickle time today, but we'll work on it a little bit. I'd like to have it ready for spring. We go to the car shows and things. Yeah. We get those side covers off of there. We'll take a look inside. Definitely fills the garage space up. So because it doesn't have the original engine in it, somebody peened over the little area there. It's still there. The chance of finding the original though is pretty slim. But you'll notice what this doesn't have is a gas tank. And it went right here, and it was a round, kind of a round tube. So we don't have that. I've got to come up with something. You can't see it very well. How about now? See a little better now? turn you down a little bit. There we go. Better? So somewhere right in here, I've got to come up with some kind of a tank. And unfortunately, that's where hot exhaust is coming out. So, I can't use a plastic tank. And then this also has a pull start on it. I'd like to convert that over to electric start. Don't know. I have this one. I don't know if this tank's going to fit in there though. Kind of a tight spot. We may have to make something for that. This can come off. This exhaust can come off. I can reroute that. I was hoping that little one I had would fit in there, but it will not. So, and I don't think any way we can figure that. That is going to go in there. Sadly. It's really close. Too bad. I have a plastic one, but that is not a good plan where that is sitting. But the size is about right, I think. Take that off of there. Or not. It's close. Closer than the other one, for sure. If we work that in there. This side in first. I think maybe round might actually be the best way to go on that. I can work that into the space, but don't really like the fit of that. So, we may just have to make one. I've never made a gas tank before. Because if I made it, I could make it kind of fit here and then drop down a little bit. That'd give us a little bit more fuel. Just hold a little bit more. I did not do the install on this. And I was just looking at it. I don't think that's supposed to go there. Does that look like a problem to anybody else? Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that. And then the throttle is really sticky. So there's our throttle. When I pull the accelerator throttle on the handlebar, it's not moving. But that does move. So that's not hooked up right. But it runs! Oh man. You buy these things and you always get into more than what you think you're going to get into. That Harley logo's got to go though. And then I probably will just lucite the taillight. This is a 1958 C73, and I've talked about that before. Here's the inside. You can't see anything. We get a light. That's a little better. So this is a 58 C73 silver Pigeon, made in Japan by Mitsubishi, ironically enough. So it doesn't look like much work, but we've actually got quite a bit to do on this. And again, I'm not replacing Thursday videos with stuff other than Pickle for a while probably, but today we're doing a little bit of both. So we need a tank, and it has to fit in that little hole right there. We need a door right there. We need the kill switch hooked up. I'd like to get a key, some kind of ignition on it here. and get a plate made for that gaping hole in the dash. I don't have a speedometer for it. I'll keep an eye out for one. And then build a little rack on the back or add another seat. I haven't decided what I'm going to do there yet. And come up with some kind of cap. The tank and a tail light. And this and that. And, you know, the list just keeps going on. So I don't know how much you'll be seeing of this in the next few videos, but I'm going to get started on it anyway. And we'll see where that takes us. I was digging through my pile over there, and I keep empty cans like this. Yeah, I'm a hoarder. It's okay. I'm good with it. I made my peace with it. But I found this, and it fits perfect. I don't know if we could make a gas tank out of that or not, but it matches. Color matched. Should we try and give it a cold start? It's been sitting out the carport for a while. Got some starting fluid here. I do recall... Can't get to it. I do recall this being kind of hard to pull. It's just in an awkward position. It'll run. We don't have to start with that, at least. We can pick on something else. Like coming up with a way to get it some fuel. Started pretty easy. I'm actually shocked. But it's just a little 8 horsepower Tecumseh. I wish they'd have put a little Honda in it, but we'll make do with this. We'll make it work. Well, I took a cue from the VW Nut Garage, and we're out washing in the rain. And that's the bottom of the tank after I've just kind of scrubbed on it a little bit. The top, I think I can bring back close to that. So I've worked just a very little on the top here. And there is paint underneath it. And the tank looks to be in pretty good condition. We'll get a camera down inside it here in a minute and we'll take a look inside. But it's so solid. I'm so shocked. Everything on this bus is pretty much gone. How did that thing stay in such good shape? And it's original because it has the blue where the felt was. How bizarre. I'll keep working on that. I'll bring you back. We'll get a little bit further along, but if the top cleans up anything like the bottom did, I think we're gonna be okay. Cool. Brought that tank inside. We are experiencing some severe rain, flooding actually. I can't believe gas even came out of that. Let me get a light on it. So that's that little mesh. There's like a little brass screen that's in there. I don't even know how gas came out of that. Hopefully that light's not washing you out too bad. See if we can get that out of there in one piece. Oh, almost. Got it. That's gonna need replacing, I'd say. Too bad it's ripped. Probably could have got by with it. And I'm probably the one that did that. When I took it out, it was not that tight. But here's your... I broke off. They're pretty degraded, it looks like. Pretty rough shape. The camera to focus on it. But they were all caught up in our screen here. I do think I have all of the pieces out, but I broke them off of the reserve kickover. So that's a bummer, because I don't think this piece here is that cheap. Yeah, we'll see if we can clean it up anyway. I'm going to stick it back on the tank because I don't want stuff to get in the tank. Let's take a look inside that tank, see what it looks like. I'm using a little scope here to go down, a little endoscope that's Wi-Fi. It works on my phone. There's no audio on it, but you can see the inside of the tank. That light you're seeing there is the flashlight that's clamped on the outside of the tank, shining through the bottom hole. Sorry, I'm making you a little dizzy, but tank's in pretty good condition from what I can tell, as far as the rest of the bus is concerned anyway. Get the sidewall there where the seam is. It looks to be not rusty at all. The only point that's really, really bad is right there where I just zoomed in, is in that upper corner, kind of where there was no gas when it was sitting. And then there's another little area I show you here where it looks to be just a little bit rusty, and we'll just coat it with that red coat, gas tank coating, and that should fix that. When I took this out of the bus and tipped it upside down and dumped everything out, the only thing that came out of it were 2 highly polished rocks. So I don't know if those came from my lovely child or some other kid that threw it in there. So there's the other kind of rusty bad spot, and I think we're in pretty good shape. Just a little red coat, and this should be good to use. I gotta fix that the kickover valve as well, but other than that, this should be good. I tried to show the couple bad areas that the tank has. I've been over it with the scope. I'm using this guy right here. This is a Depstech. It's wireless, so you basically just turn it on, sync it to your phone. It has a little camera on the end with LED lights. Turn those on and show you. And you can control the brightness of those. I don't know if I'll be able to show you that or not. This stick is posable, so I can control, there's a thumb dial there that controls the brightness. And I think it has a 10-foot cord, and the whole thing is posable. You can put it in any position you want to go. Endoscope. Got a little bit of surface rust here on the, can't get it to focus, on the neck. And then most of the tank's in pretty decent shape. There's a spot right down on the underside, focus, on the underside of the tank on the driver's side. That's an issue. But I think I can just coat that and that will be fine. Definitely usable. No holes. I turned the flashlight on inside the tank and shut the garage light off, and I don't see any holes. Plus it was holding gas, so we know it doesn't have any holes in the lower part. But yeah, pick up yourself one of those. Amazon. If it's still, get it to focus. If this one's still available, I'll put a link down in the description. You can check it out. So we know that the tank is usable, and I just kind of scrubbed a little bit on it with some steel wool. I think most of the paint's going to even come back. I worked a little bit on the back of it, or bottom of it. Pretty crazy. So I think I'm going to soak this. This is our kickover, our reserve. Soak that up. My bet is they do not sell just the replacement stems, so I'll probably have to buy the whole thing, but I don't know. Kind of a bummer. I'm guessing that doesn't come apart. Yeah, we'll find out. See what happens. Just thought I'd mention that little camera is waterproof. It has the adjustable LEDs, which I mentioned, and then there's one really neat kind of thing that it has. This turns it into a magnet. It has a magnet on the end, and you half twist it. Give it a half turn and it threads on to the end of the camera. That is a little probe, or it can be used as a needle. You're going to pull a wire or a loop or something through. This one turns it into a mirror. And this one is a little retriever hook. So all of those can go on the end of the camera. Makes it really useful. But I don't have it clean, but I have it clean enough I think I can get it apart. And this piece is reverse thread, but it does come apart. Okay, let's see what that looks like inside. So I just kind of put it in a little bit of kerosene. This is the time when you should keep your fingernails long. And we work on getting that out and bring you back. Well, sadly, I believe that is made in there. So I have threaded that piece back on. I cannot get that out. So if that is a separate piece, it's seized up in there. So I'm probably going to have to order a new one of those, or when I say order, that means go over to the parts store at Dad's and pull one out of the pile, if we have one. We may not have one of these. Might have been one on the 59 though. 59 Beetle. Anyway, I'm going to put that back on the tank. I'm going to thread that snugly. This is stopped up, so that isn't going to let anything through. And then I'm going to put some kerosene in the tank just to keep it from rusting, flash rusting inside. Put the cap back on, put it back outside for now anyway. So we'll go ahead and see if we can't hunt one of those down, and that way we know that piece is ordered and ready when the time does come 15 years from now when I'm driving this thing on the road. Bummer that doesn't come apart though, because I'll probably fix the rest of it. The this part doesn't move either, so that is seized up in there. I have sprayed some Freol in there, but alas, to no avail. So for right now, it's just going to be a stopper on the tank to hold our kerosene, and I'll just move it every so often and make sure that it is kind of getting a good coating of kerosene around it. Kind of a bummer, but at least we know, and at least the tank's good. I called Dad, and he had a couple of those reserve kickovers. These are for beetles, so I don't know that they'll work on the bus. And unfortunately, this portion where the two little copper or brass or whatever those are, those lines that go in, where those go through is not rebuildable, sadly. I'm shocked Volkswagen did it that way, but this component is rebuildable. I mean, these are pretty rough shape. So I don't know if we can save those or not, but we do have a couple spares we can play around with. I think the one that is on the bus currently is toast. I say on the bus. I put it back on the tank. Let me get a screwdriver, see if we can turn those. So sadly, I will probably be replacing. That one turns. That one will at least turn. The one that's on the tank that came off of Pickle won't even turn. And that one turns. So we might be able to rebuild this component of it where that rubber grommet stopper is. I don't know. That's probably going to leak right there. So corroded in there. Yeah, I might look online and see what a rebuild kit cost for those. I think the angle, I took the tank outside already, but I think the angle on this part is a little different than on the bus. Maybe not. Anyway, I've got 2 to play around with without damaging the one that's actually on Pickle. And, you know, the thing is, I may just, if I can get the one that's on that tank to work, to not leak. And we know it was holding fuel before I took the tank out of there. I am probably never going to use that reserve. I'm just going to fill up every time I go out. So we'll try and order a rebuild kit for that. And I don't know if one of them's better than the other. Maybe just get a rebuild kit and use the other one for parts. I don't know. I'll see what I can do with that, and I'll bring you back when I decide what I'm gonna do. Yeah, and hopefully the weather will be cooperating and we'll be back out on old Pickle, or at least have something of his back here in the garage. Thanks, everybody. See you next time. Alright, remember those old vice grips that came out of old Pickle? Came off the clutch? We're gonna get all sciencey on you.